Kaidu was the leader of the House of Ögedei and the de facto Khan of the Chagatai Khanate, a division of the Mongol Empire. He ruled part of modern-day Xinjiang and Central Asia during the 13th century, and actively opposed his uncle, Kublai Khan, who established the Yuan dynasty in China, until Kaidu's death in 1301. Medieval chroniclers often mistranslated Khadan as Kaidu, mistakenly placing Kaidu at the Battle of Legnica. Khadan was the brother of Gyuk, and Kaidu's uncle. Early life. Kaidu was the son of Kashan, a grandson of Ögedei Khan and a great-grandson of Genghis Khan and Bauta. His mother's name was Shakana Khatun, from the Bekran tribe of mountaineers that were neither Mongols nor Uyghurs. In 1260, Marco Polo described Yarkand, part of the area under Kaidu, as 5 days' journey in extent, that its inhabitants were mostly Muslim, although there were also some Nestorian and Jacobite Assyrians, and that it had plenty of food and other necessities, especially cotton. In the Tollywood Civil War between 1260 and 1264, Kublai Khan was warring with his own brother Ariq Boka, who was proclaimed Great Khan at Karakoram. Kaidu began to have major conflicts with Kublai and his ally, the Ilkhanate. Meanwhile, the Chagatai Khan Algu, who supported Kublai as Khagan, ravaged the lands of Kaidu. This forced Kaidu to make an alliance with Burqa, the Khan of the Golden Horde. Conquest of Transoxian. After the defeat of Ariq Boka in 1264, Kublai summoned him at his court, possibly discuss the future of the empire and give his share from Ögedei appanage in China. But Kaidu avoided appearing at his court and said that his horses were too thin to bear long distance, because Genghis Khan had made a law that all branches of the family had to approve the granting of the title of Great Khan. Kaidu's enmity was a constant obstacle to Kublai's ambitions. In 1266, Barak was dispatched to Central Asia to take the throne of Chagatai. Kublai instigated Barak to attack him in 1268. At first Barak defeated Kaidu, however, the former was defeated by the latter with the assistance of Mongkatima, successor of Burqa. When Barak advanced towards Kaidu, the latter set a trap for the invaders' troops on the bank of the Jaxartes, and defeated his forces. Transoxiana was then ravaged by Kaidu. Barak fled to Samarkand, then Bukhara, plundering the cities along the way in an attempt to rebuild his army. These actions alarmed Kaidu, who did not want the region to be further devastated. Kaidu also needed to free up his army for a potential conflict with Kublai. Peace was therefore proposed, and Barak was pressured by the governors of the sedentary areas of the Khanate, Masud Beg and Daifu, to accept. He did, and peace was declared, although sources conflict on the time and location. Rashid al-Din claims that the meeting took place in the spring of 1269 in Talis, while Wasif writes that it took place around 1267 to the south of Samarkand. Either way, 2/3 of Transoxiana were granted to Barak, while the other third went to Kaidu and Mengu Timur. Kaidu also gained control of the region around Bukhara. Neither side gained control of the cities. The administration of these instead devolved to Masud Beg, while Barak and Kaidu agreed to reside only in the deserts and mountains. Later defeats and death. Kaidu convinced Barak to attack Persia under the Ilkhanids. Barak suffered a large defeat at Herat on July 22, 1270 against Abaha. Barak died en route to meet Kaidu, who had been waiting for his weakness. The Chagatai princes, including Mubarak Shah, submitted to Kaidu and proclaimed him as their overlord. Sons of Barak rebelled against Kaidu, but they were defeated. Many of the Chagatai princes fled to the Ilkhanate. Kaidu's early attempt to rule the Chagataids faced a serious resistance. The Mongol princes such as Negibei, whom he appointed Khan of the House of Chagatai, revolted several times. Stable control came when Du-Hua was made Khan, who became his number 2 in 1282. In 1275 Kaidu invaded Urumqi and demanded its submission, but the Buddhist edict resisted. Kublai sent a relief force to expel him. Kublai's son Nomuk Khan and generals occupied Al-Malik from 1266 to 76, to prevent Kaidu's invasion. In 1277, a group of Genghiside princes under monk's son Shigi rebelled, kidnapping Kublai's 2 sons and his general Antong. The rebels handed Antong to Kaidu and the princes to Mongkatima. The Great Khan's armies drove Shigi's forces west of the Altai Mountains and strengthened the Yuan garrisons in Mongolia and Xinjiang. However, Kaidu took control over Al-Malik. Though Kaidu had 14 sons, he relied mostly on his daughter Kachilin for advice and aid in military matters. Kaidu had waged almost continuous warfare for more than 30 years against Kublai and his successor Timur, though he eventually fell in 1301, when he was defeated and wounded during a battle near Karakoram and died shortly afterwards. Legacy. Kaidu waged a continuous war lasting 30 years against Kublai and his successor. See Kaidu-Kublai War.